Good morning. Good morning, my lovely viewers. Right this time with Global Entertainment News Morning Boss. I'm your host, Steven, ready to kickstart your day with all the fresh news and stories. And right here with me, bringing our own spark to the studio is.
Hello.
Let's dive into today's headlines. First from Punch and in Vanguard. Our top story from Vanguard this morning, Dan Bukele finally and with regions lead ECOWAS president. The president of ECOWAS Commission, Dr. Umar Ali Toure, said over the weekend that Dangote Petroleum Refinery has become a symbol of ambition, vision, and industrial self-reliance for an entire continent. We have seen something I couldn't have imagined, and really, the capacity of all areas is impressive. We congratulate Dangote for this choice in Africa because I think you do this only when you have a choice and has a vision of Africa, and this is what we should all work to encourage. According to Tulani Refinery, which produce fuel, these standards of fuel is critical to helping the sub-region meet its 50 ppm sulfur limit of petroleum products, a standard many important fuel fall short of actually.
Well, I really feels like it's a good thing for acknowledging Dangote's work in the when it comes to minerals and this refinery of its thing. It's actually a good thing because it is really working with what Africans have and Nigerian actually have when it comes to crude oil and all. And I feels like he deserved the accolade as well. But one thing I'm still finding very hard to do is way the Nigerian that is finding it very hard, even after reducing the price of fuel pump over and over again, and then the NNPC in Nigeria is still finding it very hard to actually patronize Dangote is what I feel like I really don't understand, but I think that he deserved the accolade as well. He deserved the accolade.
All right, moving on to our next story from Vanguard this morning. Nigeria affected as Saudi Arabia suspend black work visa. In a sweeping policy shift geared towards managing inbound labor during peak pilgrimage period, Saudi Arabia has temporarily suspended issuance of the block work visa quota to Nigerians and nationals from six other African countries. Other affected include Egypt, Algeria, Sudan, Ethiopia, Tunisia, and Morocco. This suspension was which affected 14 countries and all impacted other nations such as Indonesia, Iraq, Jordan, Yemen, India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh. Block work visa are quota-based permits that allow Saudi employers to hire a predetermined number of foreign workers. Once approved, the quota allows presidents to apply for work visa for specific candidates. The decision announced by the Minister of Human Resources and Social Development affects new and pending temporary work visa application.
Well, this is actually a sad one for Nigeria. Everything is, it feels like every other country right now is actually blacklisting Nigeria from entering into their country. And I feels like this is not supposed to be happening right now when most of the Nigerian are actually in the Japa syndrome. And then everybody is thinking that whatever their rightful decision, every step they take to leave the country is actually a good one. And I feel it's not supposed to be like that right now. But I don't know the reason why they have to do it, but whatever reason it should be of help to their country and also put other motivation to African countries to make sure that they work better, like they should develop their own country as well.
Well, I see this as I expected more from the Saudi Arabians because we all know that
Saudi, the Mecca has actually been known for this pilgrimage every when it comes to seasons and months like this, where people really go in and do this pilgrimage and everything to worship during season of especially season of Ramadan like this and other seasons. But if they keep asking people not to come into their country, I think it's going to really affect their economy and reduce
Well,
because
that's that.
most of the people coming into the country are the ones coming there to do the hard labor and the
Well,
chores.
that does not affect their prayer this season whenever it has to, when every year that it has to come. It's actually going to be affecting those from other countries that is going there with a block work and all that. So the privilege and the Mecca that other people are going is not affected. So their own is that when you get there and then you are done with your prayer, you have to return back to Nigeria and to your various countries.
All right, moving on to our next story from Vanguard this morning. We will not let Trump whitewash the issue of apartheid in South Africa. In a blatant attempt to whitewash the issue of apartheid in South Africa, Donald Trump accused South Africa of genocide against white South Africans. Therefore, he sent a private plane to bring 59 white South Africans to resettlement in the United States. Trump claimed that this was to correct the egregious action of the Republic of South Africa in a gross misrepresentation of the truth. His empowerment of this action with Executive Order 14202 in an apparent injustice that we cannot allow to unchallenged, allowing it to happen without a challenge of an affront to the years of the fight against apartheid and Nelson Mandela's legacy.
I feels like Trump is really there's like they says that all good cannot be good at every aspect of it. There's going to be a good one, and then there's also going to be a bad one. South African has been both mixed for as long as I know. Even before I was even better white and black South African, and then even if there is still going to be some propaganda coming out of it that those supposed not to the or white South Africans are not South Africans or the black South Africans, and I feels like there's this bias between when it comes to colors and all that between we human beings, and I feel this thing is not supposed to be Trump trying to actually white let me say, come into the South Africans and then trying to make it look as if that the black South Africans are disrespecting the whites, as if that you're trying to pull them out of their own base, out their nationality, and then their homeland. It's not supposed to be. This thing is supposed. They have been together for long enough, and then those things, whatever that is going to be happening, is just between them that they needed to settle between them, not United States coming in that then they're trying to make it feels like there's us. No, it's not supposed to be.
All right, moving on to our next story from Vanguard this morning. Parents hire stop to assault vice principal for preventing cheating in WAEC examination. Suspected thug hires by a parent of a student of Complete Child Development College, Aole Akure in Odo State, reportedly beat up the vice principal of the school for preventing his son from cheating in an ongoing WAEC West African Examination Council WAEC exams. A preliminary report of the state government's investigation on the assault of the vice principal carried out by the director of schools, Ondo State Ministry of Education, stated that the Android phone was discovered from the SS2 students during the examination. The report read that the incident started on May 26 when an Android phone was found with one of the SS3 students which is contrary to the rules and regulations of the school, and Mr. Tifa, the vice president of the school, seized the phone from him. On Thursday, the mother of the student came to the school to fight with the school management so much that the proprietor of the school ordered that the phone be returned to her, which was done.
That is really a sad one. It's a sad one, if I may say. Like there is other news that when you find out that parents are bribing teachers and all that to actually give their children a higher sports and all that, give them a higher mark just to make them feel like their child is doing a very good job. If your child is being found of a mobile phone, which is actually prohibited, why would you go into the school to fight the vice principal because of she's I'm just doing her work? Now I'm going to say that parents are the reason why most children are no longer taking education seriously, because in their own time they feels like their parent is going to come through for them, they are going to fight for them, they are going to pay way for them, and that is really annoying. If you bring out a Nigerian children out, and then you bring out one of the African country child, and then you ask them to make a competition, you find out that few out of the most Nigerian children can actually top up. It's very hard, and then we are not even the parents are not encouraging their children to actually do something really good. Like, you're just encouraging them into the act of like break the rules of the school, cheat and all that, and which is not supposed to be.
Well, I think the West African Examination Council should actually look into this to see to the vice principal if it actually caught or something else happened after this. I think more investigation will actually go in, and involving the Ministry of Education into this already should be the best, should definitely be the best step to have been taken already. All right, moving on to our next story. Today's top story from Guardian News. NECO plans to conduct CBT-based examination for November-December SSCE. The Registrar and Chief Executive National Examination Council (NECO), Professor Dantani Ibrahim Washishi, has said that the body is ready to conduct a computer-based test CBT for the November-December Senior Secondary Certificate Examination (SSCE) for private students. Washishi, who stressed the need for an awareness campaign to get stakeholders on board and new approach to SSC examinations, added that the NECO has been carrying out the campaign in town hall meetings with stakeholders across the states on the need for CBT. The registrar, while speaking during the Educational Writer Exam Association of Nigeria (EWAN) dialogue series with the term CBT for SSC is Nigeria ready, held virtually, disclosed that there were more than 2,000 CBT centers across the country, aside from national open university centers in all the states and some local councils.
Well, I feel like the CBT of the team are going to be involved in NECO. I already feels like there is too many examinations that is being written when it comes to Nigerian educational sector, and then when all that has been piling up here and there, and then we don't even know, some of them are not even being used. Some of them are not even included when you wanted to get anything further. It's only like I feels like Nigeria needed to abandon these terms of when it comes to over and over again examination, and then just stick to one that will get you to where you have to be, because you write exam first term, second term and third term in primary school, in secondary school first term, second term and third term. The same thing keep going repeating itself. Even when you are done with your secondary school, you are still asked to write NECO, NAPTEP, YEG, GC, and all that. And then at the end, you still ended up need to write JAMB as well. And then when you still write JAMB, you still need to go to the school that you picked, and then need to write another exam. And then I feel like this examination is getting overwhelming for most children, even though they really wanted to try their best. They don't know which and which they have to read. They don't know which one they have to put on, and then try to memorize it and then have better outcome out of it. I think that this exam needed to be cut down. Whichever one that they know that is the direct entry for every student to get them into university, that should be done. Not over writing exam in secondary school if they are writing up to 4 or 5 exam, and then it's too much.
Oh, I think it's actually something the Ministry of Education really needs to look into. Having a country like Nigeria, you definitely know everybody wants to make money from different sector. You pay for WAEC, you pay
NECO, you need to pay
NECO,
for
you pay for
NAPTEP,
NAPTEP,
you
you
need
pay
to
so
pay
many
for
things. You also pay
GC.
for JAMB also. and GC. So you just imagine so many exams you have to pay for. Just and all these sectors have what the amount they pay to register for this exam, and they're just piling up money for their pockets, and we're not seeing any effect of everything. All right, moving on to our next story from Guardian. Kano declares public holiday to mourn 22 athletes killed in auto accident. The state governor, the state's Kano state government has declared today a public holiday to mourn the death of 22 athletes who lost their lives in a tragic auto crash on Saturday. The athletes were killed near Kuri after about 50 kilometers from Kano while returning from Abeokuta, Ogun State, where they had represented Kano at the 22 National Sports Festival. In a statement signed by the Director General of Media and Publicity, Sanusi Bature Dawakin Tufa, Governor Abba Kaba Yusuf expressed profound sorrow and extended heartfelt condolence to the family of the victim. On behalf of the government of and the good people of Kano State, we wish to extend our heartfelt condolences over the unfortunate incident that occurred in the brave Kano team members on their way back home along the Kano Zal Expressway. This
This is a sad one. 22 athletes. That is really a sad one. You can't even comprehend how this have to actually come up together and then it's all exploded at one go that 22 people actually lost their life on that very fateful day. I still learned that even at that Ogun State stadium, there was an explosion, there was lighthouse, there was no payment for those that actually came to perform. And I feels like every day, every time when we wanted to think about how our leaders are actually helping and supporting us, we find out that almost half of it were all failed opportunities, failed attempts, failed improvements, and failed leadership. There was not it like how can you just okay feels like 22 people just lost their life at a go. 22 people. Now, how does that even supposed to sound? We are already battling insecurity in Nigeria, and here is it now that we are losing 22 athletes at a go. What is actually happening in Nigeria?
firstly, I would like to say my condolences to the family of those that actually lost their life in that tragic incident. And it's actually a very good sign of remorse by the governor of Kano State to actually give a public holiday to mourn the souls of those 22 athletes that actually lost their life. It's actually a sad one, and I just imagine how the families of these athletes are going to be feeling, moving from joy to sorrow at in a blink of an eye. Because I know so many of them will be very very glad and happy to see their family members represent the states in a particular competition. It's actually something some of them have actually been waiting for, and at the end of the day, it turned into sorrow for them. It's a sad one, I say. All right, moving on to our next story from the Guardians. Opposition coalition shops for candidates as APC mocks efforts. Fillers from the broad-based opposition coalition being forged by former Vice President Atiku Abubakar alongside the 23 presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Mr. Peter Obi, revealed that the immediate past transportation minister Rotimi Chibuike Amechi may emerge as the ultimate presidential stand-bearer for the group. It was reliable gala that Amaechi came into the picture following Peter Obi's insistence of contesting the presidential poll alongside his former running mate, Senator Yusuf Datti Baba Ahmed. Amaechi, who turned 60 on May 27, had during an anniversary lecture organized in his honor, disclosed that he pointedly told President Bola Ahmed Tinubu shortly after the incumbent emerged as the presidential candidate that he would not support his re-election. Everybody
Yeah.
actually coming out to um, try to form a coalition when it comes to tackling the next presidential election coming up. I think in next 2 years, 2027, and so many people. I don't know why some people will come out today and say they are in support of President Tinubu's the election and some are coming out to say they are not in support. Just as if there's something fishy going on that we've
Yeah,
not really gotten.
definitely. When it comes to certain things like that, when it comes to politics, those that are benefiting are those that wanted to mobilize people into this party and promising them heaven and earth until they feels like they are already there for the first time or for the second time, then they can let go of these people that they have been given false promise. But right now, this time is not actually a division for Nigeria to be divided among ourselves now, but this is the time we actually need to come together and then make a better Nigeria, make a change of Nigeria, and then do the needful.
All right, we've come to the end of today's program, Breakfast Show. Thank you for joining us today on the Breakfast Show. I'll be your host, Steven. Be sure to join us again tomorrow. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe on all our social media platforms for more news and updates. Have a blessed day. Bye.